Hi everyone.
Hello.
So today I wanted to talk about the difference in all the Disney resorts. There are a lot of Disney resorts, a lot of places you can stay on Disney property. I'll highlight on staying off property, although that's not my preference, and I'll explain why. But what the difference is between all the levels of resorts, because there are 4 levels of resorts. We've stayed at each level. Just this last trip made us able to stay at each level. I want to get out of the way, the off-property hotels.
Don't do it.
For some people, off-property makes sense. If you want a complete Disney vacation, don't stay off-property. That's just my preference. If you're saving up to go to Disney, save a little longer to stay on property. You'll get that bubble experience. You won't have to worry about a thing from the time you leave. And that's what I really like about it. But if you are going to the Orlando area, you're going to do other things like SeaWorld and Universal. Definitely stay off property. It's going to be easier for you. You'll save money. You'll have better ways to customize your experience.
Why you want to go to Orlando and not only stay at Walt Disney World? We need to talk.
So I wanted to highlight a few things. I'm going to be reading off this sheet. It's my little cheat sheet that I made up. So the all off-property hotels, they're different, but there are some noteworthy points. And for some people, it'll make or break them staying off property. For me, it breaks it. They may or may not have free airport to hotel transportation, and that's a big make or break for us because we're not renting a car when we're there.
3 times ago, when your dad took us, he rented a car.
He rented a car because he needed his handicap pass and he was more comfortable. He was disabled, so it was more comfortable for him to drive a car than take the bus transportation, which I understand.
We still took the bus.
They do not include extra magic hours. Extra magic hours is where a park opens early or closes or stays open an extra hour after, and you can only get that if you're an on-site guest. They check your band, your magic band, to make sure you're staying on property. You're not eligible for the dining plan. Now, for some people, this doesn't matter to them. For us, we just like the convenience of not having to pay while we're there and seeing a large credit card bill. We can slowly chip away at the payments and pay for our meals. We also find that we save money there. We eat and we're full, and our bills are always over what the price per day is for adults. For some people, the dining plan doesn't make sense. And I've seen this in different blog posts where people kind of break down what they've eaten during the day. And it really doesn't make sense for some people. For us, it makes sense. So think about what you would on average spend for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and total that up per person, and then look at that per person price. For us, it completely makes sense. And I know when we have kids, it'll make sense. So we will always do it. It's also, even if it was a little more expensive, I don't think I'd mind paying it because we have that convenience of not having to stress about this meal's so this much, and then you get a huge credit card bill right at the end of your vacation, versus we do payments while paying off the trip beforehand. Staying off property, you have access to non-Disney restaurants. You also will most likely have a rental car, so you'll have access to grocery stores, which for some people that makes sense. You'd rather cook your dinners. Some hotels have full kitchens, but that makes sense for some people. Eating on property is a make or break because it is expensive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying that you can eat at Disney property on a budget. You can, most likely, but
it's just very hard.
When we go on vacation, we don't want to stress about we can't afford this meal. We want to know we can. So for some people, you may have to eat at the chain restaurants off-site, and there are a lot of them, and it's a very easy way to save money. So if you are going to Disney on a budget, staying off property may be the best for you. May or may not have free transportation to and from the parks. This kind of hits on the airport to hotel transportation. Within a 15-minute span of the Disney parks, a lot of off-site hotels have transportation. You can never rely on when they're going to get there. Disney buses, they say they're going to be there every 20 minutes. The monorails every few minutes. And the boats are pretty quick as well. I would say I've never waited more than 20 minutes for a boat.
Well, that's not 100% true. I remember one time we just got out of Wishes, and we were trying to leave Magic Kingdom, and we were going from Magic Kingdom to the Polynesian. That's probably the only time that I can honestly say there was a huge bum rush wait.
Besides, like, those large crowded times. And that happens when you're trying to leave a park right after the fireworks. You are going to wait in a line for transportation. But still, Disney does it while we're not waiting forever. And that's what I like, is I don't have to worry about when's the next bus coming. Rather than, I know a lot of off-property, they're like, oh, these are the times we run our bus. And then I'm like, well, I have to plan my day around the bus. And if I miss it, then I may have to wait another hour or two. So that's what I personally don't like.
Yeah.
But again, if you rent a car, it may work better for you. And if you rent a car, you do have to pay for parking. So if you stay on property, parking is free, even if you bring your own car into the lots. But for a standard car, it's $20 a day to park. Now, you can take your receipt to each park. So if you park at Magic Kingdom in the morning, you want to go to Animal Kingdom at night, just take your parking receipt, and then it's free at Animal Kingdom. You're only paying once per day, but that's an extra $20 that it may make sense for you, it may not make sense for you. To make fast passes, your reservations, you can only make them 30 days out rather than 60 days out. And this I have found can make or break some rides. So the Frozen ride, I was able to get at 60 days, but when I went again to look at 30 days, I was not able to find it.
Sorry, my dog is making moves on me.
With that being said, you can find park tickets a little cheaper. So if you book them through Disney, you're paying that standard rate, versus like AAA, you can get them, things like that.
Stop licking me.
One big thing that I like, and I try to do it every time I'm there, is you can't skip the baggage claim. So with staying on Disney property, what we do is you get a package right before you leave, and it has these yellow luggage tags in it. With these yellow luggage tags, you wrap them around the handle and you check into your flight like a normal flight. But when you get off, you can go right to the Magical Express that'll take you to your hotel. You don't even have to stop at baggage claim. About 3 to 6 hours after you've landed, your bags will be in your hotel room waiting for you. We did this with our honeymoon. I think that's the only time we've done it together. It's the only time we've been able to, and it worked, and I loved it, and I've never had a problem with it. Some people have had like, oh, I had to wait the full 6 hours. Pack what you're going to need that day in your carry-on, because you may not get it for a full 6 hours. There are time differences, so like if you land at 9 o'clock at night, they can still do it, but you're not going to get your luggage till the morning. So think about that as well. I think with the honeymoon we landed in the morning, so it made sense for us. So some of the benefits, like I mentioned, saving money if you don't care about on-site perks, the possibility of a continental breakfast, which saves money, so a lot of hotels have that. It's easier to visit the other Orlando parks. Some may have the shuttle service, like I mentioned. There are more perks for certain travelers. So if you're a business traveler, maybe you're meeting your family down there, you may want an off-site property that has more business perks, as well as some of the off-site hotels are pet-friendly. So if we wanted to bring Chip, that's something we'd have to look into, because he wouldn't do well in a boarding situation because of his anxiety. You can use reward points or timeshare, so if you have like Marriott rewards, anything like that, that may benefit you staying off-site, because you could possibly get a free hotel room for your whole week. And then, honestly, if I had a free hotel room for my whole week, I would say stay off property. And then you can book on discount sites for bigger savings, like Hotels.com, Priceline, things like that, the third-party sites.
There are some off-property hotels that are literally on the other side of the street from Disney, like outside of Disney Springs and stuff like that.
They're actually on Disney property, but they don't have any of the Disney perks.
But on the flip side of that, you can always stay at one of those hotels, walk across the street to the buses, and then you're on the transportation for the Disney buses. Mm-hmm. So that could be something else you guys could also look at as well.
Yeah, that may make sense for if you want to kind of be in that bubble. You would just have to walk across the street. It used to be easier before Disney Springs did their renovation, because the bus system was right on the other side.
Yeah.
Now they moved it, so it's a little bit more walking. So next we're going to go into the value resorts. I'll first have Josh list off all the hotels that are in the value resort category.
Ahem. By the way, this entire list of the value, moderate, and deluxe, as well as the deluxe villas, I'll put this entire list in the description below this video. We have Disney All-Star Movie Resort, Disney All-Star Music Resort, Disney's All-Star Sports Resort. There is also Disney's Art of Animation, which Amy and I have both stayed at.
Yep.
Disney's Pop Century Resort, and campsite at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort.
Disclaimer, a lot of people count the campsites as a not value resort. I count as a value resort because it's in that price range. So all value resorts have fun, bright, kid-friendly theming with large icons. This is a very bright, it's a motel style feel besides the cabins, or the campsites that you can bring an RV or a tent and you can camp the entire week at Disney. That, I really like that, especially if you're staying with young kids and this is your lowest price budget. The value wasn't bad when we were there.
No, I mean, when we stayed at the Art of Animation, it was very, very much kid-friendly. Like Amy was just saying, a lot of colors, a lot of Disney characters are there. You still have, fun and friendly staff that work there. You still get the Disney magic and everything's on a budget. So it really can work very well for those people.
Like I said, the rooms that open to the outside corridor is that motel type, but it's not anything like a motel. It opens to the outside, but it's still pretty nice. And some of the moderates even open to the outside as well. Mm-hmm. For dining, they have food courts and pizza delivery available. None of the values have table service restaurants. And I want to note this. Besides the campsites, Fort Wilderness itself has a table service, but it's only food court. So it's only like quick service style food that you can get. They do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They do have snacks. They do have desserts. They have ice creams. Art of Animation, I can't count the other ones, but Art of Animation have even had a smoothie area. There's always themed pools, but something to note about the value is there are no water slides in any of the value resorts. So there are themed pools. They're very cool theming, but there are no water slides. It's very large and spread out. I can vouch for this because the first time we stayed at Art of Animation, my father, who was handicapped, we had a room and then we had to move it so we were closer to the car. It is very large and spread out. Be prepared to walk. This is a breaking point for a lot of people because you're walking throughout the day at a Disney park, and then you get back to your hotel and you have to walk even more. I remember staying at Art of Animation. As much as I love the hotel, we'd get off the bus and then we'd still have to walk across the resort property to get to our hotel room.
I mean, it is what Amy just said. There's a lot of walking.
If you have somebody who has trouble walking, I would pay a little more for a different hotel, or specifically request something very, very close to the entrance. There still will be a little bit of walking, but not much.
And you can request, when you get there and you're checking in, you can always ask them and see if there is a hotel room or something that you need, one or the other.
There's bus transportation to all of the parks in downtown Disney. The only thing I will note, with all of the All-Stars and Pop Century, they share a bus. So if you're staying at one of the All-Stars, it's going to stop at all of those resorts, except for Art of Animation. Art of Animation has its own, and Fort Wilderness just shares them with the cabins and the campsites. These rooms have 2 double beds or a king bed, and the prices these are averages. It changes per year. Disclaimer: $96 to $200 for a standard room a night. Art of Animation does differ. It sleeps up to 6 people. It has a separate bedroom. It has a kitchenette. Those prices are a little more. Art of Animation does have standard rooms in the Little Mermaid section, so that would fall in that $100 to $200 price range, but the family rooms are a little more than that. Did you like staying at the value resorts? I think it's worth it if you can't afford a full trip to Disney. It's decent for what you're getting.
Outside of the walking issue, I didn't have any major problems. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of stinks that the hotel that we stayed at was Art of Animation. Was a little bit further away from all the other parks. But I mean, outside of that, it wasn't that bad.
And you'll see that as we go up in rank, it's all about location, location, location. Fun fact about Pop Century. Art of Animation is actually on the property that they were going to build a second set of rooms of Pop Century. So they were going to do, Pop Century is different decades. Where Art of Animation is, it was going to be a different set of decades, which is why the Little Mermaid building is different than every other building because it was built for Pop Century. So all the other buildings, Nemo, Lion King, and Cars, are all new buildings. Little Mermaid has been there for a while, and that's why those are standard rooms, but all the other ones are family rooms. Fun fact.
And now you know. Okay, Monterey Resorts. Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. We have Disney Coronado Springs Report. Resort. Can't speak English. Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter. And Disney's Port Orleans Riverside, which you guys saw in our last video. And the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Lodge Resort.
Alright, so hopefully I can get through this a little bit quicker. So there's theming with lush landscapes, a very grown-up feel. Rooms that open to outside corridors, so it still has that motel feel, but it's like upscale motel. Table service restaurants, except at French Quarter. They have food courts, pizza delivery available, a main feature pool with a water slide, but they also have other quiet pools, so these are also pretty spread out. Not as much as the Value, but they're spread out enough where they can have a few other pools. On-site recreation, large spread out layout, the bus transportation. Many have the internal bus stops except for French Quarter. So because the property is so large, they have an internal bus system that kind of just makes a loop all day. So if you're at a far building, rather than a Value, you don't have to go back and walk to the main building. 2 queen beds or 1 king bed. Riverside and Caribbean Beach can accommodate families up to 5. Themed rooms are available at Port Orleans Riverside and Caribbean Beach. The pirate rooms, the princess rooms, and then the prices range from, again, depending on the time of year and the type of room you get, $180 to $280.
I was not a fan of these types of resorts. I mean, I didn't mind that hotel as much. I mean, there were some walking. I mean, the day that we closed Magic Kingdom, I believe it was after Wishes. And I also think after we saw our Happily Ever After. It still was a walk, but not nearly as bad as Art of Animation. So it's still a con for me, all the walking like Amy was saying. But as far as for what we paid for, I'm still happy with the French Quarter.
One thing to note about moderate and Value, with the food courts, it can get really busy because that is the only dining option on property. The food courts can get very, very busy if you're going in a popular time, especially breakfast and especially the lunchtime, because kids are going back to nap and then they're going by the pool, so they'll eat lunch there. Dinner, not so much. A lot of people don't go there for dinner. But you'll also see it pick up again right before they close because people are getting like their midnight snacks. Deluxe Resorts.
All right.
Hit it.
My favorite, Animal Kingdom Lodge. We have Disney's Beach Club Resort. BoardWalk Contemporary, one of my favorites.
That's where we've stayed in this category.
Now, my absolute favorite.
Which he's never stayed there.
But we're going to because that's a bucket list item. I'm not even looking. We're looking right at each other. Grand Floridian Hotel and Spa. Polynesian Village Resort. Wilderness Lodge. And Disney's Yacht Club Resort.
So all the deluxe have fantastic theming with lobbies and gift shops. It's gorgeous. Rooms that open to the inside, so that's where you get that higher level, so you're not like a motel. Table service restaurants, including one upscale option. In some, there's multiple upscale options. Quick service, a main feature pool with a water slide, and other quiet pools, which is really nice because they're all hidden, so they're very nice and quiet.
Very romantic also.
Yeah. Non-bus access to at least one Disney park, except for Animal Kingdom Lodge, which always uses buses. All deluxe resorts accommodate up to 5 people in standard room, except for Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge, and BoardWalk Inn. Those only sleep 4. On-site gyms, salons, and valet parking. And something about valet parking in Florida is that if you have a handicap sticker, you get free valet parking. The prices range from $320 a night to $835. You can go higher than that if you want club access or a nicer room. Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge are the least expensive. So now we're going to go on to the Deluxe Villa Resorts. These are DVC properties. Disney categorizes them as a separate level. Most of them are connected to a deluxe, so they come with a lot of the deluxe resorts amenities. All but two are connected to a deluxe resort. Old Key West and Saratoga Springs were built as just a DVC villa property, so they are much wider laid out. They
I guess
have,
Chip wants to help us.
yes, they have an internal bus system, much like the moderate, so they resemble a moderate, but they have larger rooms.
We have Bay Lake Towers at the Contemporary Resort, Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas Jambo House, Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas Kidani Village, Disney's Beach Club, the BoardWalk Villas, Old Key West Resort, the Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa, the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa Villas, Boulder Ridge Villas at the Wilderness Lodge.
So one not on there that hasn't opened yet, or I believe it just opened, is Copper Creek at the Wilderness Lodge. Regarding the table service restaurants and one upscale option, Old Key West and Saratoga Springs do not have an upscale option because they're in that moderate level. So those two have the amenities of a moderate level, including that internal bus system. Non-bus access to at least one Disney park, except for Animal Kingdom Lodge, Saratoga Springs, and Old Key West, which always use buses. The deluxe villas accommodate 5 to 12 people, depending on the size of the villa. Prices vary depending on the room size, the time of year, all of that. With the villas, there are 4 room sizes. There's a deluxe studio, which includes a kitchenette, a queen bed. It's kind of like a junior suite because in the same room as the bed, there's a couch that pulls out to a queen bed as well as another twin bed. The 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedrooms are exactly as they sound. They have separate rooms for those. The 1 bedroom is the same size as a deluxe studio, but it includes a full kitchen and a washer and dryer, and pretty much dining area as well in the 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom. So out of all 4 of those categories, which ones do you like?
Well, since I'm expensive and I have no problems admitting to it, I like the deluxe villas. To be honest with you, when we went on our honeymoon, we stayed at the Polynesian, our home resort. There honestly really wasn't anything negative I can actually think from there. I mean, I know this kind of sounds weird and funny, but I think our favorite part of that room was the shower.
Oh my god. It had a rainfall shower, which I always loved. So I really like that.
I think my least favorite out of this entire list, out of the deluxe villas, was the Saratoga Springs. We stayed there on our honeymoon. So, brief synopsis, we went a week at Disney World. For another week, we went on the Disney cruise. And then we came back to Disney World after that. So it was 2.5 weeks of Disney. When we came back from the cruise, we stayed at Saratoga Springs. Given we weren't there for a very long time, I was still very unhappy with the internal bus system that they have on that property. We actually got disoriented trying to get back to the main building. We were trying to get back to Disney Springs for dinner that night. And it really just confused us, I feel.
Yeah, and that's something why I don't think I'd spend my points at either Old Key West or Saratoga, because you have that moderate feel, and if I'm going to spend my points, I'd rather it be at a deluxe, like a deluxe feel. And that's something about the vacation club I really like, is no matter, it's a vacation you won't outgrow. And I know that's Disney's tagline, I sound like an infomercial, but it's really true because right now we have 200 points, and we'll get more into this with our vacation club video, but a studio works great for us now. When we have kids who maybe want them to have their own bedroom, we're going to go up, and maybe I want that full kitchen. Maybe when I have an infant, I'm going to want that washer and dryer even for a week because babies make a lot of mess. That may be when it works for us, and our points, we can add more points on, or actually right now our points will carry us to that level. We're not going to outgrow it. Mm-hmm. So I really like that. I like that I can customize it. You will be posting a video hopefully shortly, depending on with the move. We will try to post that video because it's going to have a lot of good advice and questions answered. So please, if you have any questions about the Vacation Club, or if you have any feedback about being in the vacation club or hearing anything about it, please leave a comment down below. We'll definitely include it in our vacation club video.
And if you're a DVC member watching this video, leave comments below. I mean, there's probably stuff that we may not remember to want to mention in our next video, that if you bring it up to our attention, we'll definitely say it in the video. So by all means, please leave comments below.
Please like and comment and subscribe to our channel. Share this with your friends. We'd love to share our Disney knowledge and love around the world. And stay tuned to our channel. We're going to have a lot of good videos coming up, a lot with moving and the new house and things like that, as well as more Disney videos.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.